everybody, my name is Alex. I am a yoga teacher and an Ayurveda yoga specialist, and today I'm going to be guiding you through a class that's designed to help pacify the Vata dosha. So if you struggle with things like anxiety, hyperactivity, high stress levels, the inability to calm the mind or still the mind, or like your mind is kind of all over the place all the time, this is going to be a really good class for pacifying that type of behavior. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start right on hands and knees. So come to hands and knees on your mat, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. If you have wrist issues, you can bring the hands a little bit forward of the shoulders. But otherwise, right underneath the shoulders is great. And we'll start nice and easy with some cat-cow movements. So on an inhale, start to lift your chest, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze. Exhale, round your back, draw your belly button up towards your spine, let your head drop down between your arms. And then again, inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. And let's take a few rounds back and forth just like that. Exhaling to round the back, draw the belly button up the spine, and then inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. We're going to add a little bit of additional movement here. So the next time we round the back, inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze, and then exhale, round the back, pull the belly button towards the spine, start to move your hips back towards your heels to come into a child's pose. Let the forearms come down onto the mat if you can, and then inhale, slowly peel the forearms up off the mat as you come back into your cow stretch, lift the chest, the tailbone, and the gaze. Exhale, round the back, shift the hips back, hands and arms come down onto the mat, and then inhale, slowly peel yourself all the way back up. We'll do it a few more times. See if you can really start to match your movements with your breath. So the entire exhale takes you back to your child's pose. The entire inhale peels you up off the mat, right back into your cow stretch. Let's do one more round. Exhale, round the back, pull the belly button in, shift the hips back. And then inhale, peel yourself up off the mat, right into your cow stretch. Nice. Let's go ahead and take the left toes back behind, nice and long, and just start to press through the heel a couple times, warming up through the calf muscle. And then let that leg come back down. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Pressing back and forth. And then the knee comes back in. We'll take the hands nice and firmly down onto the mat. Pick up the fingers and then press the fingertips down, curl your toes under, lift your hips up towards the sky, press your chest towards your thighs, and let's add a little bit of a pedaling of the feet here, so bending into one knee and then the other, just adding a little bit more movement. And then start to settle into stillness in your downward facing dog. So a little bit of a bend in the knees, help you get nice and long through the spine. Press down into the hands, feel yourself growing up from your arms, all the way up the sides of your back, all the way up into your hips. Nice and long through the spine. And then on an inhale, look forward between your hands, start to walk your feet up to the very top of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Add a nice bend into your knees, let your belly come into contact with your thighs, and let your upper body drape down towards the mat. Head hangs heavy, so the back of your neck is nice and relaxed. And just shake your head yes and no a few times. And then while we're hanging out here, take a moment to look at your feet and then think about picking up your toes and pressing your toes down into the mat, and then picking up your heels and pressing your heels down into the mat, and feel the mat underneath your feet, feel your feet over top of the mat. And then nice bend in the knees, press into your feet, inhale, rise all the way up to standing, arms reach up towards the sky. And then exhale, the hands come down to the heart center. We'll take a few rounds of sun breath just like that. So again, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold yourself all the way down. Inhale, lift halfway, get long through your spine. And then exhale, fold all the way back down. Bend the knees, press the feet into the mat. Big reach all the way up towards the sky. And then exhale the hands down to the heart center. Perfect. One more time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, get long through your spine. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up, arms reach towards the sky. And then exhale the hands down to the heart center. Nice. Let's take a moment in mountain pose. So you want your feet to root down onto the mat. Press down into the feet, pick up the toes, pick up the heels, and then start to imagine that you're drawing your energy up right from the center of your foot, of each foot, the arches of your feet. And then get nice and tall through the spine, squeeze your thighs towards one another, hug your belly button in, shoulder blades move together, crown of the head is reaching up towards the sky. And you've got your mountain pose here, and feel your feet on the mat once again, and feel the mat beneath your feet. Really focus your attention on your feet. And then notice your breath. See if you can draw your breath all the way down into your belly so that your belly starts to expand. And then go ahead and soften all of that engagement. And we'll step back with the left foot to set up for a warrior two. So the heel of the left foot comes down onto the mat, and the toes point towards the long edge of the mat, maybe just a little bit forward. The front toes face the short edge of the mat, and the heel of your front foot is lined up with the arch of your back foot. And that's warrior two. So we're going to face oriented towards the long edge of the mat, hands on the hips to start, press down through the feet and squeeze the thighs in towards one another. Get nice and expansive through the chest, and then reach the arms out in opposite direction. Gaze goes over the front fingertips. So this is our warrior two. We'll add a little bit of movement here to get settled. So on the inhale, lengthen the front leg, reach the fingertips up towards the sky, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knee, reach the arms back out. And then again, inhale, lengthen the leg, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the knee, sink back down. Let's do that a few more times. Try to move with your breath, nice and slow. The whole exhale takes you back down. The whole inhale takes you all the way up. And then one more time, exhale all the way back down into your warrior two. Now see just how still and strong you can get in your warrior two. Feet pressing down onto the mat. Feel the mat beneath your feet. Feel your feet over top of the mat. Check in with your thighs. Are you still squeezing the thighs towards one another, hugging the belly button towards the spine? Maybe you close your eyes and see what happens when you close your eyes. Check in with your breath. And then lengthen the legs, soften the arms down. We're going to turn the toes, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we'll just turn to face the other side of the mat. Warrior two stance. So we've got the heel lined up with the arch of the back foot. Arms reach out in opposite directions, pressing down through the feet, squeezing the thighs in. On an inhale, reach the arms up, hands come to touch. Lengthen the front leg, and then exhale, bend the knee, reach back out in opposite directions. Keep going, move with your breath, go at your own pace. Back and forth, nice and slow. The entire inhale takes you up, and the entire exhale takes you down. And then one more time, exhale all the way down into warrior two, bending back into the front knee, feet pressing into the mat, thighs squeezing in, belly button hugging the spine so that you're toned through the abdomen. And then see just how still you can get here. Try not to move anything unless it's absolutely necessary. Maybe close the eyes. Find your breath. And then exhale, soften the arms down, lengthen the legs. Let's turn the toes to face the long edge of the mat. So now we've got a wide-legged stance. We're going to reach the arms out in opposite directions like warrior two, but this time we're in more of a star shape. We've got the toes facing forward. Let's take the left hand, and on the exhale, lower the left hand all the way down towards the mat. At the same time, the right fingertips reach up towards the ceiling, so it's like a twist. And then inhale all the way back up. Exhale all the way down in the opposite direction. Inhale all the way up. Try to slow your breath down and keep your breath and your movement at an even pace. So the entire inhale takes you all the way up, and the entire exhale takes you all the way down. Let's do one more time on each side. Meet back at center, soften the arms. Let's take the hands to the hips, inhale nice and tall. And then exhale, hinge forward at the hips, come into a wide-legged forward fold. Your hands can come down to the mat, to your ankles. You can keep the hands grabbing opposite elbows if that's more comfortable for you. And we'll take just a few breaths here. Again, focus on your feet. Feel your feet pressing down into the mat and feel the mat underneath your feet. And then inhale, lift halfway, get long through your spine, hands back to the hips, rise all the way to standing nice and slow. Perfect. We're going to turn back to the front of the mat and step the feet forward. So we're back at the top of the mat. And then from the top of the mat, with the feet hip width apart, we'll step back with the left foot to set up for warrior one. So the heel comes down onto the mat, the toes point towards the top left-hand corner of the mat, and we're squaring the hips forward towards the short edge of the mat this time. Bend into the front knee, knee over the ankle. And then from here, arms down alongside you. And then we'll inhale, lengthen the arms, lengthen the leg. Exhale, bend the knees, soften the arms back down. Let's do that a few times. Inhale to reach up, lengthen the front leg. Exhale, bend the knee, let the arms lower all the way back down. One more time, inhale up. And then this time, keep the arms up as you bend back into the front knee, squeeze the thighs towards one another, press your feet into the mat, get nice and long and tall through your spine. Couple breaths here. And then lengthen your front leg. Take your hands down to your hips. Maybe bring your back foot forward just a little. And from here, we'll come into a pyramid pose. So we'll let the hands come down onto the top of the thigh as you fold your upper body down towards that leg, any amount that feels comfortable in your body. And we'll take a couple breaths here. Think about pressing both feet down into the mat so that you've got your weight evenly distributed between both feet. Thighs still squeeze in towards one another, just gently. Couple breaths here. Focus on breathing deeply into the body. Fill your belly up. Let your belly expand with the inhale. And then soften with the exhale. And then bend into the knee, rise all the way back up, arms reach back up towards the sky. And then from here, we'll push into the front foot and step back into mountain pose, feet at the top of the mat. Really nice. Let's take a couple breaths here. And maybe take a moment to notice if you feel a difference between one side or the other. So maybe one leg feels more active than the other, more open, more stretched out. Whatever kind of sensation you notice, just take the moment to notice that. Recenter your breath. Nice deep breaths. And then step back with your right foot this time to set up for that warrior one on the other side. So the heel comes down, toes point towards the top, right hand corner of the mat, bend into the front knee. Arms down alongside you. On the inhale, lengthen the leg, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the knee, let the arms lower back down. Again, inhale, reach and lengthen the leg. Exhale, bend the knee, arms come down. One more time, inhale, reach and lengthen. And then exhale, bend back into the knee, keep the arms up. Warrior one, feet press into the mat, thighs squeeze towards one another. Nice and active here, nice and strong. We're warriors, warrior one pose. Breathe deeply. And then soften the arms down maybe to the hips as you step the back foot forward, and we'll come into that pyramid stretch again. So the hands down to the front thigh as you fold all the way down, any amount that's comfortable in your body. Keep the hands on the thigh for support. Press down into both feet, gently squeeze the thighs towards one another, and breathe all the way into your belly. And then bend the knee, rise all the way back up, warrior one, arms reach. Big press into the front leg, step forward, mountain pose. Both feet down alongside you. Stand up nice and tall. Find your breath. Breathe deeply down into your belly. And then on an inhale, sweep the arms back up towards the sky. Exhale, fold all the way forward, back down towards the mat. Hands can touch the mat if they reach. Bend into the knees, let the torso come into contact with the thighs. And then let's step back with first the left foot, and then the right foot. And then press back into a downward facing dog. So again, press into the hands, reach, 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 tall through the arms, tall through the sides of the body, really reaching the sits bones up towards the sky. And then let's lower the knees down onto the mat. And we'll come down all the way onto the belly. So whatever way works for you, find your way down onto your belly so that you're lying flat on the mat on your belly. Hands are going to come alongside the chest so that the fingertips are just below the shoulders. And then we'll hug the elbows in towards the body, nice and tight. Tops of the feet will press down into the mat so that your kneecaps pull away from the mat. And as you start to pull the kneecaps away from the mat, maybe feel that your pelvis is pressing down. And then on an inhale, without pressing into your hands, start to just lift the chest up. Use your back muscles to lift the chest. On an exhale, lower it back down. Let's do that a few times. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down. One more time, big inhale, lift. This time we'll hold it here. Slide your shoulder blades down your back. The hands are on the mat for support, but you're not pressing into your hands. They're just there to support your body. Your back muscles are doing all of the work here. Keep breathing. See if you can breathe all the way down into your belly. And then exhale, soften down. Stack your forearms to make a little pillow for your head. And let your head rest down onto your arms. You can separate the toes, let the feet be wide, and we'll take a few breaths here. This is Crocodile Pose. Notice that your belly is pressing down into the mat. And notice what happens when you breathe. Notice what sort of movement your breath creates in your body. If your mind starts to wander off, just notice and then come back to your breath, come back to your body. We must put in the effort to bring our awareness back to the present moment every time the mind wanders off. When you're ready, we'll start to press the hands down into the mat. Come back to hands and knees. One more time through downward facing dog. So press the hands into the mat, curl the toes under, lift the hips up, get long through your spine. Think about tucking the bottom of your rib cage up towards your spine so that you keep the back nice and straight. And then lower the knees back down onto the mat. We'll come to a comfortable seated position. Legs can be crossed, or you can sit up on the heels if that's more comfortable for you. If you have a blanket or a bolster or a pillow or any other sort of prop that you can sit yourself up onto, I highly recommend it. It makes sitting a lot more comfortable when you can elevate the hips slightly. From here, we'll come into a couple simple seated twists. We're just going to walk the left hand over to the right knee and the left hand behind the sacrum. Sit up nice and tall as you twist towards the right. Not pulling with your hands. The hands are just there for support. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. And then find your breath and start to feel your breath moving all the way down along the spine. So on the inhale, feel your breath moves down all the way to the base of the spine. And on the exhale, all the way back out. Couple breaths. And we'll soften right back to center. And we'll take the same twist in the opposite direction. So left hand walks behind the sacrum, right hand walks to the left knee as we twist towards the left. If you can, close your eyes. Find your breath and breathe deeply, like you're breathing all the way down the length of the spine. And then soften back to center. We want to come into a nice relaxed forward fold. So we're going to let the knees be bent. And we're just going to fold down over the legs and hug the knees. So we'll take a nice few deep breaths here. Focus on a nice long inhale. And a nice long exhale. If your mind wanders off, remember to bring it back to the moment, back to the breath. Focus on inhaling and exhaling slowly. And then when you're ready, sit yourself up out of your little fold. And then lie back on the mat so that you're lying flat on the mat on your back. Let the knees be bent, feet flat on the mat to start. And then once you get yourself situated, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. Feel your low back massaging down into the mat. Really focusing on that sensation of pressing down into the mat with the low back. And then from here, we'll just do a little bit of gentle movement before we come down to rest. So on an inhale, reach the feet up towards the ceiling. Reach the arms long behind you. On an exhale, hug the knees back in towards the chest. Wrap the arms around the knees. Inhale, reach the arms back, reach the feet up. Exhale, hug it back in. Move with your breath. So the entire inhale takes the feet up towards the sky, the arms back behind you. The entire exhale hugs the knees back in. And then see if you can start to slow down your breath and slow down your movement. Nice and slow, long inhale. Nice and slow, long exhale. Let's do 2 more like that. And then after the next time you hug your knees into your chest, let the feet come flat onto the mat. Extend the legs out long. Spread the arms down alongside you, and we'll come into our resting posture, Shavasana. And we'll do a little guided relaxation to help the body relax after practice. So if it's comfortable, let your eyes be closed. Take up as much space as you need on your mat. And allow your body to be heavy. And let the weight of your body pull you down. And as your body settles into a state of stillness, bring your awareness up to the very top part of your head, the crown of your head. And start to feel a sense of softening that moves down throughout the entire body. So first, soften down into your forehead. And then around your eyes. Soften into your cheeks, through your mouth, and your jaw. Feel your whole face become soft and relaxed. And then let that softening sensation move down into the muscles of your neck, your shoulders. Soften your upper arms, your lower arms, palms of your hands, all the way down into the tips of your fingers. And then for just a moment, see if you can be aware of your breath and the tips of your fingers at the same time. And then bring your awareness into your chest and start to soften through the muscles in your chest. Soften down through your abdomen, into your hips, your thighs, shins, the tops of your feet, and then all the way down to the tips of your toes. And for just a moment, see if you can be aware of your breath and the tips of your toes at the same time. And start to soften through the soles of your feet. Soften your heels, calf muscles, hamstrings, and your glutes. And then soften through the low part of your back, through the mid part of your back, and the upper part of your back. Start to soften through the back of your neck, all the way back up to the crown of your head, the very top part of your head. And start to feel that your entire body has this sense of softness to it. And this softness really complements the heaviness of your body, giving you more space for rest. And then start to notice your breath. As you breathe, get a sense that your entire body is breathing as one. And that with each inhale, every single cell in your body is being nourished. And with each exhale, every single cell is being cleansed. And we'll take a few moments of silence to just rest in that awareness of nourishing and cleansing the body with the breath. When you're ready, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your ankles and your wrists. And gradually start adding more and more movement to your body in any way that feels nice. Maybe bending the knees and hugging them back in towards the chest, or reaching the arms long overhead and giving yourself a stretch from head to toe. If you'd like, you can roll off to rest on one side for just a couple of breaths, or rock yourself up to a seated position. And we'll all meet in a seated position on the mat. Sit up nice and tall, get comfortable, come back to a sense of stillness. Notice how you feel. And remember that yoga is a practice. And we can get some pretty immediate benefits just by participating in one practice, but the prolonged benefits of yoga really come from practicing daily or practicing regularly, a few times a week at least. So be sure to plan some time to come back for practice again when you can. But for now, we'll end here. I like to close class by taking the hands together at the heart center for just a moment of gratitude. I like to give thanks for every moment of beauty, peace, joy, and bliss that we all have access to in this life. And I'd like to give thanks to each of you for taking the time to practice with me today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and namaste.